Mathias Roy, and we're going to be talking about current news, and especially in the sports-related world. We're going to start off with the NBA. We're going to start with playoff predictions. It's early. We know that. But, we're looking at the standings. You got the Bucks on top of the East, 32-6. You got the Lakers with 30-7 on top of the Western Conference. Who do you guys think? I mean, got eight teams for each conference. Who's got it?
I mean, I'm a little biased because I'm a LeBron fan, so naturally I'm going to say the Lakers. But we already know they're going to the playoffs because they're the number one seed in the West.
They could be the number one seed and all, but, Clippers got in that. They got in them when they played them. So I got the Clippers over the Lakers.
Personally, I'm a Clippers fan, so, I got Clippers over Lakers too. And right now, just looking at the standings, I pretty much think there's not going to be much movement. I think these pretty set. In the East, I don't see the Hornets really getting that 8th seed. I think the Nets got that locked up. And in the West, Spurs got that locked up as the 8th. I don't think Grizzlies going to catch up.
I think you made a good point about the Nets, but the other thing is Kyrie Irving can't lift his shoulder. Surgery is a possible option for him. And you look back into the Western Conference, the Clippers, 26-12. Kawhi Leonard is still with this load management problem. Do you think with the Clippers especially, is the load management, as the season goes on, will that either hurt them in the playoffs or that's going to benefit them?
I think it'll hurt them, but, they still got Paul George. They still got other weapons around them. So,
I don't think just Paul George is enough to beat LeBron, though.
It's just LeBron.
And Anthony. Anthony Davis? You don't think Anthony Davis is a threat in the league?
I'm better than Anthony Davis right now.
You think you're better than Anthony Davis right now?
No, but I think the Clippers, are going to handle the Lakers later in the playoffs.
I think the load management is going to help the Clippers, Kawhi's going to come in, fresh legs, And I don't think the Lakers are going to keep that 1 seed, Anthony Davis took a little bit of a fall, last night against the Knicks. X-rays came back negative, but he's probably going to be out for a couple weeks.
Are there? Do you guys think there are any teams in both the East or the West Conference? I'm a Heat fan, so I'm looking at the Heat right now. Top 3, 26-10, like that. Do you think there's any team that is kind of doesn't have the superstar talent like the Bucks do or the Lakers that could contend and get to the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals?
I think the 76ers could show something a little later. They got Joel Embiid. His finger's a little messed up right now. If you haven't seen it, but I think they could surprise a lot of people. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Celtics too. Really looking nice this year. I think, Kyrie was just toxic for that team for real. Because they're just he's not a leader, man. Like I don't think Kyrie's really a leader. Kemba, he knows how to lead a team. I think they're just playing better with Kemba at the point guard position.
You can remember Kyrie. That was LeBron's team back in Cleveland. That was not Kyrie's team.
That was never Kyrie's team.
I think that Kyrie wanted to leave and he wanted to make it his team, but in the end, you saw how it ended it all. He said he wanted to stay, and then he ended up leaving. All right, so still NBA. Who's your MVP right now? Giannis. See, I got Luka. I like Luka Doncic right now. I think he's
MVP.
I think he's playing out of his mind. As much as I love Giannis,
James.
LeBron.
Always.
You're biased.
I am a LeBron fan.
Luka is putting up amazing stats, but I still think it's Giannis just because the record. They have the best record in the NBA, and he's just putting up insane stats, even better than his last year's MVP stats.
I think if you look at the whole stats combined, Luka's averaging 29 points a game, LeBron 25. For a guy he's really carrying the Mavericks. He really is. And if you look at the Mavericks right now, they're still in the playoff spot, and even when Luka was hurt, you really saw them kind of fall off a little bit. Look, the Mavericks are 6 seed, 23-13, only 6 games off. Mm-hmm. And you saw Doncic, even for the most improved player, that's what I give it to him. But MVP, I still think he's up there.
And, if you really keep up with the NBA, last night the Pelicans played, and Bojan Bogdanovic, he had 35 points with 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals.
Just catch and shoot?
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. That was a record. That was the most points somebody had ever had without any other stats. It's like 2,000.
Sacramento Kings guy, right?
Yeah.
That guy's a bucket. That guy's an actual bucket. But even with the Kings too, they're struggling too. They're the worst.
I heard
worst record in the decade or something like that.
I heard Lakers might try to trade for Bogdanovic. They might try to trade Kuzma for him.
For real?
Yeah. Kuz doesn't want to. He's not fitting the Lakers anymore.
I wouldn't either. He's not really a factor right now. He went from being maybe the number 1 guy.
Never the number 1 guy.
Who was on the Lakers? It was him and
Lonzo was over. I think Lonzo was always better.
He could have been better.
If you look,
he was not the number one guy.
If you look at Lonzo now, his improved stats, 17 points a game. Yeah. Last 5 games, pretty much taking that team.
Averaging 17 in the last 5 games on the Pelicans.
Yeah, 17, and I think the Pelicans were 5-1 last time I checked.
Yeah, doing his thing.
Yeah,
but Kuzma, he went from being 1 or 2 to he's barely nothing. He's on the team, which is good, but
yeah.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is more of a factor than he is.
You saw how he got fouled last night?
I thought that was clean for a sense.
Oh yeah,
I thought that might have been a little clean. He came with the SWAT.
Nah, Portis just slapped it, man.
Portis knew he was going up for a dunk, but he went.
That did not look like a block, man.
Okay, come on. If you're going up,
that just looked like
that's just like if you were jumping up.
That's like when I smack you though.
You didn't smack me though. He ducked all the work last Friday. He'll never tell you that. All right, team is the NBA. The AllStar Game's coming out, and we've seen Taco Fall and Alex Caruso. I personally don't think that should be. Well, they should at least go to the AllStar Game. I get it that they're fan favorites, but at the same time, you're taking away votes from Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all who have had improved years. Who are your all-stars for both the East and the West right now? And it doesn't have to be all of them, but just locks.
Obviously LeBron.
Of course.
Anthony Davis.
Of course. Paul George.
Kawhi. It's West heavy for sure.
Yeah, West heavy for sure. In the East, though, really came up as an all-star this year, Trae Young, man. He's really cooking this year.
John Morant.
He as a rookie?
I don't know if he might be all-star.
He's definitely, John Morant's definitely getting a bucket individually. But
he has a case for all-star just because his stats, as a rookie, he's just been really impressive.
The Grizzlies 16-22. Not bad, but I think the problem is he won't start because of how heavy the West is, like you guys were telling me. If he was in the East, you still have Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker, Tatum, Brown, and
Giannis obviously. Also.
Yeah, Giannis will get there. But I would like to see him come off the bench, maybe as a reserve. I think he's had an incredible year, including that step back that he had a couple nights ago.
My Clippers, man.
And Pat Bev, it wasn't Pat Bev, it was Lou Williams gave him that little nod and was like, all right, I see you over there. Man. But I think the whole scene of the All-Star Game, with all the voting, and even I don't know what your opinions are with the whole Taco Fall and Caruso thing. I know I mentioned that.
Those are just memes, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay if you're voting them, but then again, Devin Booker hasn't made an All-Star Game. He's balling out in Phoenix. I think he should leave personally.
Balling out in Phoenix, but I think those are just empty stats, man. He's not winning anything.
Yeah, but he's in the West. It's hard to.
But think about who's on his team. Let's be real here. Kelly Oubre, DeAndre Ayton, who was suspended for the performance enhancing drugs. Yeah. And I can't even name half these players. Tyler Johnson, my Heat and all that. But
someone who's demonstrating frustration with his team is Karl Anthony Towns with the Timberwolves. It's interesting. I was looking. Warriors might be looking to trade for him. Since they're not the powerhouse they used to be. Warriors, I think they're in the bottom of the West right now.
Yeah.
And they might get that top pick, so they might try to trade some other young assets for Karl Anthony Towns.
I would like to see that for Towns. Draymond Green, I don't think is a true center.
The fall of the Warriors is kind of sad.
They lost KD. Curry's hurt.
Clay got hurt.
Clay's hurt. Yeah. I don't even know who's on the Warriors right now.
Yeah, their whole starting lineup at one point was just unknown. Draymond got hurt, and then D'Lo got hurt, and it was over. And you kind of wonder, with Clay, they probably won't play him because they're 9-30 almost. So they'll probably rest Steph Curry, and if they get Towns, does that make them a contender for the next year?
I think that definitely makes them a contender
for next year.
Even completely healthy with,
and they'll probably get a lottery pick based on their record. So they're picking in the top 4. So does that make do the Warriors? Does that make them a contender for the next season?
Next season, they could definitely be serious contenders.
Yeah,
I can definitely.
I got us beating them right now, though. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Who's us?
DeMatha. I got us beating the Warriors.
DeMatha could beat the Warriors right now.
I think so as well.
I think give Bomford that they'll smack him in the day of the week. We're gonna move on to the NFL because that's the bigger topic right now. Divisional week, got some great games. Vikings, 49ers, Titans, Ravens, Seahawks, Packers, and Texans and Chiefs. Tom Brady though last week took a big loss in the wild card, and to the Titans too, who Derrick Henry 182 yards ran the ball lights out. Do they have a chance to beat the Ravens this week? That's the biggest question.
The Titans are not beating the Ravens.
You're tweaking. It's going to be a good game.
I agree with that.
They have to keep scoring. They just have to keep scoring.
It's going to get very unchy.
I don't think it's going to be too unchy at all. The Ravens are an offensive powerhouse.
Okay, and the Titans are a defensive powerhouse. not a powerhouse.
Not a powerhouse.
But they have a good.
You need to be a powerhouse to beat the Ravens.
The Titans' defense is a good run-stopping defense. If it's going to be hard to stop Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram, plus all the stuff he has going on with the tight ends. But if they slow it down just a little bit, they'll give their offense just enough to, outscore the Ravens.
Yeah, and I think in the end of the day, it's going to be a running battle. I mean, how much. I mean, even though Lamar, I used to call him a running back just for the sake of it, but he can throw to his tight ends, and he has the fast wide. Was it the wide receiver came from Oklahoma?
Oh yeah,
Hollywood Brown. That John Brown. What his name is? I forgot his name. Shoot, I'm a Redskins fan, and I don't really care about them anymore. But you have that threat, and that they only pass their tight ends. But I think it's going to be who stops the run, pretty much. But besides that, I think the Titans are going to win. I think they have a better scheme, and their defense shut down. Even though the Patriots didn't play that well, and Tom Brady, was off his game, you still really saw the disruption, and I thought that was huge.
Yeah, talking about that Patriots-Titans game, after, Tom Brady took that loss, you think he should come back next year or just retire?
Yeah, he's not done.
He's not done. He's not going to leave on an L like that. He's got more in him than that.
I think a big factor of Tom Brady being so successful in the past few years was Gronkowski. And
no,
Gronkowski
he was just
leaving.
Gronkowski, he's coming back.
Gronk?
I think he's coming back.
Gronk is living his best life right now.
Yeah, he's spiking.
He's dancing with the Lakers cheerleaders.
He's spiking Steve Harvey's head on New Year's Eve, man.
That's all it was. I don't think Gronkowski's coming back anytime soon.
I think
honestly, I think Bill Belichick is going to sign maybe a 2-year because both of their contracts are done. Brady and Bill Belichick. I think they're both going to sign a 2-year deal or 2 to 3 year deal. And after that, if they don't win anything after that, they'll both be. I can't say both. I know Tom Brady will be.
Yeah, because Tom Brady. He's trying.
But I think they're both going to try to, stay with the Patriots, and I think they're going to try to surprise us and get Gronk back for maybe a year.
Yeah,
maybe 2.
It would be great to see Gronk come back, and I do think that he was a huge factor. And I'm going to throw this last question out, and then we'll move on to another topic. If the Patriots had kept Antonio Brown, regardless of what happened, Josh Gordon, and they had Gronk even not Gronk, but if they had Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown, do they win the Super Bowl this year? Or do they
go far? They would have won.
It's not even a question.
On God.
That's not even a question.
They win the Super Bowl again.
They would have won.
I think if you're the Patriots, then you just got to really wonder.
The Super Bowl, they had too many weapons. They had N'Keal. His last name's Harry, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had N'Keal Harry. They had Antonio Brown. They had Josh Gordon. They would have had Gronk. Their defense was they had the best defense in the league right now.
Obviously,
they had too many weapons. They have Tom Brady. They have a good coach. They had too many weapons not to lose. They had Julian Edelman. Like if they had kept all that, there's no way they're gonna lose. But past Patriots teams never won with weapons though. So, but I still think they would. I know they would have won.
Speaking of Gronkowski coming back, what do we think of Marshawn Lynch and his comeback in the Seahawks game?
I've always been a fan of Marshawn Lynch.
So have I.
And I like the Seahawks. I like Russell Wilson, and I think that going into this Packers game, I think they're really they're the only team that has the best chance of beating the road team this year. I like Kirk Cousins play for Redskins. I think they'll beat the 49ers too. But as long as I know that's after this. But Marshawn, they needed a power runner, and losing Carson and Rashad Penny, I think was the other guy. That was huge. They ran the ball a lot, obviously, but DK Metcalf really carries that team. That team was.
I wouldn't say DK Metcalf.
Russell Wilson. But
he gives the ball to DK Metcalf.
Yeah, if
DK Metcalf does his job.
If you look last year, 162 yards.
DK Metcalf just a little bit inconsistent in my opinion.
But
he was very good in that last game.
You can't teach his size. That's one thing.
He's a
monster. Athletic ability.
Yeah, but there's another one just like him. The guy on the Titans, the receiver.
That's Corey Davis, right?
No, you know what I'm talking about? No. This a guy on the Titans. He's just. You can look him up. You know what I'm talking about? He's big though.
I'm gonna ask our producer, Mr. Puffett. Do you know who that is? No, never mind. I guess he's not really on the mic here. All right, so more. Let's go to predictions now. Vikings, 49ers. I know I said the Vikings. What y'all thinking?
I got the 49ers.
You got 49ers? I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo. And that defense, Drew Brees, he was off. And you got N'Keal Henry's just going nuts. Mm-hmm. And he's a pro. Emerson Griffin, especially on that defensive front. And, I know Xavier Rhodes had an off year, but, I don't see the 49ers having a big really threat. I don't. They don't have a threat on offense, in my opinion.
The 49ers have the best running.
Besides George Kittle. Besides George
one of the
Kittle.
best tight ends in the league.
Yeah, they have the
Besides
best
George
tight
Kittle,
end,
forgot
and they
about
have
that.
one of the best
Breeders?
rushing schemes in the league.
Yeah, their running game is.
I mean, I think the Vikings get.
And their defense is very good.
I think the X factor in this game will be if Kirk Cousins can play at that level that he did last time.
Yeah.
Against
Kirk
the
Cousins
Saints.
is not a clutch player.
I mean,
Not clutch.
if you,
I don't know. If
here's.
They should have never beat the
I don't know if
Saints.
the Vikings can win though.
The
I mean,
Vikings shouldn't have beat the Saints.
I mean, here's what I'll tell you about
The
that
Vikings
because
their quarterback that has no experience in winning any playoff games.
I think last week
that's a
really
fact.
proved it. Last week proved it, and I will tell you this. I know that
he was happy.
I'm a
to
Kirk
win
Cousins.
wild
Yeah,
card.
I'm a Kirk Cousins supporter. You know, you like that. That's how that works. He has 14 game-winning drives in overtime or just in general. I think a lot of people underestimate Kirk Cousins. You know, based off his Monday Night Football record, having won anything, which. I mean, credit to the Redskins. We suck.
for sure.
We
But
suck.
like Jaden
but,
said,
like,
he has no playoff experience at all.
I
Last
mean-
time the Redskins with the playoffs with RG3.
we won with Kirk Cousins in 2016. But yeah,
We
he
did?
played. Yeah, he played.
He played.
Yeah, he played the Packers. We lost 35-16.
Yeah, lost to the
I watched that game. I remember.
Kirk
I remember
Cousins,
crying.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins has no.
I like to see him. I think it's gonna be interesting.
He has playoff experience.
It's gonna be interesting.
He's losing, but
one and
that,
one. I mean, it's not bad.
But I mean, he was on the Redskins, so like
I mean,
he have much opportunity
You're not
to make the
lying.
playoffs.
All right, you're a Giants fan, man. I don't know why you're talking much, but all
How
right.
many Super Bowls we have this decade, though?
I mean, how's Odell Beckham doing for you right now? He's doing great. All right. Yeah, just making sure. All right, Texans Chiefs. We got there
I got Texans, man. Like they just rallied back
on the road.
on the road. Yeah,
That's going to that face.
they rallied back
On
against
the
the
road?
Bills, bro.
What's the Bills? Josh Allen. That was his
Look,
first
bro.
playoff
They
game.
barely
The
beat the
Chiefs-
Bills.
the
They barely beat
Chiefs?
the Bills. The Chiefs?
the Chiefs,
Look, bro.
the best team in the
I
NFL,
think they have
right?
no
Second
chance.
best team in the NFL. Right
I think
now.
it's gonna be if the Chiefs can stop. If they can stop the Houston offense, they'll be fine. But that because that defense over the last few years has been a little shaky.
Chiefs versus Ravens in the Super Bowl barred.
Super Bowl.
Yes.
That can't happen.
That can't
Oh
happen.
shoot! I mean, in the
AFC
championship, in the AFC championship.
So we have Chiefs and Ravens AFC Championship. Can we all agree on that?
Chiefs.
Yeah,
Do you think the
Chiefs
Texans are going to win?
Chiefs
I got Chiefs and Titans.
Chiefs and
I got
Ravens.
Chiefs and
So we
Titans.
have Ravens over the Titans.
I have the
down.
Titans over the Ravens. I have Titans over the Ravens,
Oh my
and
gosh, no way.
that's just I
So
just
who
like
do you have in the NFC then?
NFC. I
I
have
feel like
I
I'm
got
getting a
the
feeling that
Seahawks.
you're rooting for
I
underdogs.
got Seahawks and the Vikings, man. I like
That's
the road.
respectable.
I like the
Respectable.
road team. I like the road team. I don't. San Francisco's defense. I remember
Oh,
it's
no,
it's
never mind. San Francisco. It's gonna be
it's,
Seattle and San Francisco again.
I would like to see the Vikings.
NFC Championship.
I hope. I think the winner of the NFC wins the Super Bowl this year. I don't think the AFC wins it this year. I don't. I think the NFC has just had dominance, and I don't think. I mean, besides the Ravens, unless the Ravens get to the Super Bowl, I don't trust any other
I
defenses.
think the 49ers have the best chance of beating the Ravens.
They do, but I don't even think the Ravens will make it. I don't. As if the Ravens lose, and
So-
they have the best defense out of all the
so
reigning teams,
if-
in my opinion.
So who do you think's gonna win MVP then? That's
MVP?
besides all-
Lamar.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson. I mean,
Lamar.
based off.
As long as we're on the same
Yeah,
page.
based off. I mean, 33 touchdowns, breaking
And then
Michael Vick's
defensive
rushing
player of the
record.
year. You think?
Defensive player of the year.
Stephon. I think Stephon
Gilmore, I like Bosa, man. I like Bosa. I like how he did,
He's
but
the
I think
best cornerback
I think
in the NFL.
Gilmore really
Hands down
really
best cornerback
went
in the NFL.
went off this year.
So this is my last. This is a random question, and this has nothing to do with the playoffs. You think Myles Garrett's gonna be able to return to the
Yes.
NFL? You think
Yes,
so?
I think so. I mean, if Josh Gordon could get all this, I know
I
what
think he's going to be suspended for a number of games next season as well.
Oh my God! I think he'll be suspended for a few games. Yeah, when Noah said
He might
it.
get
Couple-
suspended
Maybe
for
half the season.
maybe have the season.
like-
Maybe
8.
next season.
He might get suspended for.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, he's on the Browns too, so we can kind of relate this. Who had the worst? Who did worse? Kareem Hunt or Myles Garrett?
Kareem Hunt definitely was.
And
Myles Garrett was.
And Kareem
in the game.
Hunt got 6 or 7 games, I think, right? Or was it 8 maybe?
But bro,
Or Myles Garrett?
Myles
I mean,
Garrett, everybody saw it though.
Everybody saw it.
well,
It
there was a video. There was a video.
There was a video of
Everybody
Kareem Hunt, but
didn't-
you have to
everybody
look that up.
doesn't-
You
you
have
have
to
to
look
look
that
that
up.
video
Right.
You're gonna see Myles Garrett regardless. You don't have
Social
to look,
media on
you
your
don't have to
timeline.
look it up. Like you had to look up Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett was real life as soon as you go on Instagram. Oh my.
But Kareem Hunt's
Yeah.
offense,
I guess-
Kareem Hunt's offense was worse.
Yeah, I guess
No,
what I'm
definitely.
saying.
Hands
Yeah.
down.
But Myles Garrett, it just was on national television. Was
Yeah.
it Monday Night Football? Or
Yeah.
was it
I think
Sunday
it
night?
was Monday, because I remember,
Yeah, it was
I
Monday.
remember going to school Tuesday,
was
listening
right.
to
Yeah.
it, and
We
I was
were
like,
talk- we were
wait a minute, this dude got hit in the head. I was like
Yeah.
so confused, and I'm watching it, and then you see the next weekend these Cleveland fans are smashing the helmets like a
Yeah, it
picture
was
of Mason Rudolph. That was
Monday
great.
Night Football, national television.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it. They
Definitely.
lost the game.
No, they won the game.
No, they won.
Right,
the
they
game.
won.
They won.
It was stupid.
There was
bad.
9
Yeah.
seconds
So
left.
stupid.
Yeah,
There were
yeah,
9
they-
seconds
they
left.
won the game.
I don't. If you looked at that closely, and I remember, you see Mason Rudolph, grab his helmet, and you're just like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to ignite that fight?
No.
But at the same time, but like I said, I mean, I think Myles Garrett was the best defensive player on that team. Maybe Denzel Ward?
Yeah.
Their cornerback who's lights out.
They were missing it. I don't even know what it is, but they were missing it. Like, the Browns had all.
Baker didn't perform this season.
Yeah,
Baker
they
really
had
did.
everything.
That's it right there.
They had everything they needed to do to win the.
Coming into the season, everyone thought the Browns were going to be a serious threat, but Baker just wasn't performing.
Yeah, they might.
He had all the receivers. He had all the necessary.
They had the receivers and the running
backs. He just wasn't using them properly.
Yeah.
They didn't have a good O-line though.
All right, I'm gonna throw a question out to Mathias because he hasn't said much recently, and then we're going to the soccer side. I know you two aren't. I mean, I know a lot more about soccer and probably than he does. But you see Zlatan going back to AC Milan, bringing it back to Europe.
For sure,
He's been playing in the MLS the whole time. I mean, what are you thinking? What's the comeback?
I don't really like this move. I think he should have stayed. Finish out his career at LA Galaxy. AC Milan just. It's a farmers league there.
I mean, I'm a Juventus fan. I can see different things with that. I think the farmers league is the French league with PSG and all that. But I like the move. I think he needs to go back to Europe. He was talking all that smack to that one guy, Carlos Vela, for the LA United. So I mean, he goes back. I mean, he goes back. He comes back to Europe. He proves that point.
True.
And
I feel like he still has talent to still play in Europe. So I think it's good for him.
I mean,
I'm not that strong on soccer, but I did a little research real fast, and I see Liverpool is in the lead in the standings, and then I always heard about Chelsea. They're all right. They're like number 4.
Oh, in the Premier League, yeah.
Yeah. Manchester. I don't really know a lot about soccer.
Yeah.
But
You
play
good?
FIFA a little bit.
Yeah, I play FIFA.
Yeah. For sure,
I'm best FIFA player in the school. I'm gonna buy that right now.
Real quick, Jimmy. Back to the NFL real quick.
All right.
Your Redskins, this guy, new coach, Ron Rivera.
Vote Ron.
And you guys most likely gonna get Chase Young. Former DeMatha football player there, and he just had a tremendous season at Ohio State. How do you feel about that?
I mean,
Heisman.
I don't know about that. I think I Chase Young, DeMatha, but I mean, shoot, Joe Burrow is
Speaking
just
of college football.
baller. But
we haven't touched on the college.
We need to touch on
the playoffs. On the
championship.
I'm gonna make the ball right now.
On God, LSU's winning.
Clemson. Nah, I don't. I like Trevor Lawrence.
I'll give you 15.
Wait. What's the game? Isn't it at the Super? It's at the Superdome, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, that's gonna be a home crowd.
And it's in the middle though.
Home crowd, but it's LA.
But
it's LA. It's not, I mean, not LA. Sorry,
Atlanta.
it's Louisiana. No, it's
in
the Superdome. It's in the Superdome. So LSU
I got Clemson trap takeover.
I got Clemson too. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot, and they were down 16-0 against Ohio State. They really fought back. I mean, even though J.K. Dobbins was gone for a little bit, I think injury, but
I think the Clemson's going to be able to do it. Trevor Lawrence is an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He honestly, if you were allowed to, he would have been able to go his freshman year, and I think he'd still be.
Ooh.
If you're a team, are you picking Joe Burrow or are you picking Trevor Lawrence?
I'm picking
Trevor Lawrence. I
mean,
they're
Burrow?
both the same caliber player.
Trevor Lawrence
is younger. They both are pocket passers that can run when it gets a little unchy in there. But I mean, I like Trevor Lawrence just because I watched him growing up in high school.
I think Trevor Lawrence is more athletic than Joe Burrow.
I will agree with that. I think
as far as the run game, I think Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah, because they definitely do a read option and whatnot.
Yeah, I think and I'll run this back to Mathias asked me about the Redskins. I wouldn't have picked Dwayne Haskins personally. I mean, I liked it, but I mean, we had
it's a hometown hero.
Case
They get a whole bunch of them now.
I know, but I like this quarterback draft class is nice. Yeah. It's really nice. You have Burrow. Justin Herbert, right from Oregon.
Tua.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't trust Tua. I would have taken Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts a lot more than Haskins. I don't think Haskins was ready. I don't. I think
he wasn't ready. He only played 4 games ago.
He's gonna be ready.
Yeah, I mean, I like look. I mean, he came off a little bit with the
second
release.
half of his season.
Second half of the season, he played nice. All right, well, looks like we're gonna have to wrap it up. One more question. Are you gonna ask the last question? All right,
what's your best album of the decade?
Oh my God.
Album of the decade.
Stood up on me.
Shoot. Oh man.
Album of the decade.
Jimmy, you got to participate in this, man.
From 2010 until now.
Yeah. 2010 to 2020.
So I might have to give it to.
I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna shout out my man Twin. I'm gonna give it to him with twin tape, and then
Twin tape with that. Twin tape with that.
yeah,
I'm gonna pretend I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna agree with you on
and
that.
then I'm gonna give it to Kodak. I'm gonna give it to Institution.
Definitely a shout out Love is Race and Love is Race 2.
That's the
Uzi, come on.
Oh, that I like that.
No,
I
Love is
don't like Uzi.
J.
That was
Cole's
tough.
J. Cole's the best
too.
rapper
J.
to
Cole's
ever
too.
step foot on this
Yes.
planet. Better
That
than
song
Tupac,
got-
better than
that
Biggie.
song
all
got-
time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Force Drive. Yep.
All of them.
I'm a J. Cole guy.
For sure. I'm gonna have to give the album decade, Future, Dirty Sprite too. I'm gonna be honest, man. That was the album of the decade. That was the album.
Not what you be listening to these days, man. I don't know.
No.
All right,
No.
we're gonna have to leave it there for now. I'm Jimmy Zafiropulos, Jaden Bradley, Mathias Roy. This is DeMatha Podcast. We'll be back at you in a few weeks.